At 37 years old, I was laying in hospital and the doctor came down and sat right next to me and he told me the next 48 hours they could lose me at any second. Everything that I thought that mattered in my life disappeared in that one sentence. Now this story is about that night, the promise that I made in that bed and how it ended up making me millions. And at the end, I'm going to ask you the one question that bed forced me to answer, and I want you to answer it. Now I'm telling you this because there's something that a hospital bed can teach you in one night that most people never learn in 50 years. And I'd rather you learn that from my hospital bed than your own hospital bed. And at the end, I'm going to ask you a question that rebuilt my entire life. Now you don't need a doctor to ask it. You just need to be honest. So it's late in February 2016, 10:30 at night. I'm at home with my two young children. And I want you to hear this part properly because this really matters. I was in perfectly good sound health, no warning signs, nothing, just a normal night chilling out on my sofa. And out of nowhere, I fell critically ill. Now, I'm not going to go through the details, the medical details, because honestly, there's no point. What matters is how fast it actually happened. Now, one minute you're there sat with your kids, and the next minute you're being rushed to hospital, and there's people running around you, moving around fast, and nobody's telling you what's going on. And then the doctor comes in, and he didn't stand at the end of my bed like they usually do. He came and sat down next to me, and he said, "Hey, Mr. Paul." Now, I don't know how to tell you this, but within the next 48 hours, we could lose you at any second. My heart began beating fast. Like, is this really happening? Now, I couldn't believe what he was saying. You only hear this news about other people. It always happens to other people, not you. You hear stories about your friend's partner or someone down the road, but it's never you. You always believe that you're exempt from that. And then it's you at 37 years old, fit, healthy. The same morning you wake up, there was nothing wrong with you. In the evening, you're fighting for your life. And a man in a white coat is telling you that you might not make it until Monday. The room went quiet, ice cold, in a way that I can't even explain to you. And in that quiet moment, you'd think a man who'd spent 20 years chasing money would actually think about the business, the car, and all of it. But none of that even showed up. None of that even crossed my mind. Now, there's two things that hit me. The first was like, my children are going to grow up without me. They're going to be attending my funeral. And the second thing is, what have I actually left my children? I've left them with nothing. I'm in a load of debt. And that really hit me hard. And that was the worst thing. When I look back at that, thinking, you know what, I had so much regret, so much guilt, all that time wasted. I asked myself, what am I actually leaving behind for my children? Apart from debt, misery, what have I actually done with my life? What am I actually leaving behind? And I didn't like the answer. Laying in that bed, I remember something that I'd heard years before from the legendary Les Brown. And he said something like, when you're lying in your deathbed, surrounded by the dreams of your ghost with large angry eyes, they're saying to you that I came to you for life, now we must die with you. Because, you know, I didn't do anything with that. Now, I felt like he's actually in the room. I felt like his voice was bouncing off the walls because I could see all of my dreams surrounding me, all the ideas that I had, all the visions, all the things I said I was going to do, the business I kept on saying that I wanted to build properly one day, the person that I'd want to become, the mentor who I'd want to work with. For years, I kept putting off. One day I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it the next day. Guess what? That one day has an expiry date. And mine was 48 hours away. So I prayed, I looked up and I said, God, just give me one more chance. Just give me one more chance. Let me walk out this hospital with my health intact. And I promised I'm going to do everything that I said I was going to do. You know, that was my last chance. And then I made a bigger one than me, a bigger promise than me, because a promise that's only about you is easy to break. Now, I promised that if I got out of that hospital bed, I would make sure that nobody I ever met would have the same regret, the same guilt when they're lying on their deathbed. And this promise is the reason that this YouTube channel exists. This is the reason that you're watching this video right now. There was nothing left to do but wait and find out if I'd get a chance to walk out and keep that promise. Now, weeks had gone past. I'd had so many complications and had all sorts of scans, all sorts of treatments. And that very same doctor came back 2 weeks later and he says something like, Mr. Paul, I can't tell you how concerned we were about your condition. Like, you came in at your age. Had you been 78 years old showing all the symptoms, we'd still be concerned. And every single day we'd have meetings about you. We're very concerned. But I just can't explain to you how you're walking out this hospital with your health intact, with a clear bill of health. I just can't tell you. And I could see that he was surprised at my recovery. And I remember saying to him, I said, Doctor, can I tell you what happened here and why I'm walking out? Because, yeah, please do. Have this intrigued look in his face. I said, it's the power of prayer and the power of positive thinking. He smiled, he acknowledged it, and he said, you know what? It definitely wasn't medical, Mr. Paul. So he, being a doctor, acknowledged that there's a greater power out there other than medicine. And that for me was like, wow, and everything changed from that one day. Now listen, you can make of that what you want. I'm just telling you what happened and what the doctor said. Now you can sit there with that yourself. Now, one thing I do know for certain, the man who walked out of that hospital was not the man who came in. Because you know what? Something did die that day. Someone did die in that bed that night. And that was the old Mindy that died. The one who was going to do it all one day. That person was dead. The person who was living about 10% of what he had in him. That guy did not survive 48 hours. And the person that walked out was somebody with one job. Keep the promise. Now, people talk about finding your purpose like it's hiding under some rock somewhere. I'll tell you where mine was. It was on the other side of losing almost everything that I had. It was like kind of a rebirth. And that very first thing that the new me had to do was face a question that the old me had dodged for years. All right, Mindy, what do you really want? Not what you think you want, what you really want in your heart's desire. Now, here's where this stops being a story about a hospital bed and becomes a money story. Because a wake-up call is worth nothing if you snooze it. Now, most people do that every single day in their lives. They have their scare, they swear everything's gonna change, and 3 weeks later, they're back to their old life, the old programming that pulls them right back. All those promises they made disappear. Now, I knew that would happen to me too if I didn't move fast. So here's what I actually had to do. And listen, I'll tell you this step by step. First, I answered one question, one main question. What did I really want? For many years, I thought I wanted to become a millionaire. I thought I wanted a Ferrari. But honestly, for the first time in my life, because listen, you can't hit a target that you've never aimed at before. You have to have a target. Most people never spend one honest hour on that question. But I had just been shown that I might not get the hour. So can you imagine how important my hour became to me? Second, I made a decision that I'd been putting off for years. There was one person in the world that I knew who could help me. A mentor that I'd been telling myself that I couldn't afford. He was so out of my reach. It's so expensive. Now, I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't ready for it back then. Now, within a short space of time, I got on a plane, me one-to-one with this person I'd been putting off for years, somebody that I truly admired. I'd followed his work for so many years. And I remember sitting there thinking, this was available to me the whole freaking time. The only thing that ever stood between me and this room was my own procrastination, my own mindset. Third, I began doing the inner work properly. Now, I went after the program that had been keeping me stuck in my little world, grinding away my whole adult life, and I replaced it piece by piece, the way I show you in some of my other videos, and the results came fast. Not because of some magic trick or some hack, but for the first time, there was nothing in me arguing against my results. The debt was starting to get cleared, the business took off, the income went past anything that I could ever imagine, anything that I could possibly ever write down, anything I could dream about. These days, I work around about 10 hours a week and I am multiple six-figure months. Business is amazing and I spend most of my time doing the things that I enjoy. I've got time freedom, got money freedom. Now, I promise one thing, making sure other people don't end up on their deathbed, lying there, surrounded by the ghosts of their dreams with their large angry eyes looking down at them. Because listen, you can only connect the dots looking backwards, right? Lying in that hospital bed, that was the worst night in my life. But looking back, now, it was actually the best thing that ever happened to me. Actually, you know what? It didn't happen to me, it actually happened for me. And now it's your turn. I want you to actually do this, not just watch me say it. Now, if you were in that bed tonight, really sit down and think about this, and the doctor came down and sat right next to you, and he said to you that the next 48 hours, it could be it. Could you put your hand on your heart and say, you know what? I went all out, I lived my life all out, I did the things that I said I was going to do, I had no regrets, I'm happy with my life, I'm content? Or would the ghosts of your dreams show up? I've got chills all around me just thinking about it. Now, be honest with yourself. The business that you keep on telling yourself that you're going to build properly one day, the person that you tell yourself that you're going to become, the calls that you keep on putting off that you're not making, the level that you keep not going for. If tonight was that night, would those dreams get to live or would they die with you? If that honest answer stung a little, good. That sting is the most useful thing that you can feel all year because there is difference. There's difference between you and the man or the woman in that bed. I needed a doctor and 48 hours to hear this. You just needed a video. Now you're getting the wake-up call at full health with all the time in front of you. Do you have any idea what I would have paid for that? Now maybe your best answer was like, hey, listen, Mindy, I don't really know what I want. But don't be hard on yourself because you know what? Most people don't know what they want. It sounds crazy, but most people do not know what they want. The crazy part is that no one actually taught us how to actually really find out what we want. That's exactly why I put together my 5-day challenge, and it's going to help you like walk through and figure out what it is that you actually want and show you how to go after it and get it. It's the same exact process that I use. Now there's a link in the description below. Go grab it. You weren't placed on this earth just to be a number, just to blend in with everybody else, or to not have any dreams or have any purpose. Don't be standing around there. Don't be waiting for you to be on the hospital bed until you realize it's too late. Because guess what? I was there. And you never want to get to that place, and when the time is ticking, you don't know how long you got. Make today count. So make a decision right now. Ask yourself a question. What do I really want? What have I been putting off? And go fucking do it. Make a move this week, not tomorrow, not on next week. You got to do it right now. Don't be afraid to dream, because it can happen. Don't wait around until you're lying on that hospital bed, surrounded by the ghosts of your dreams with large angry eyes saying, we came to you for life, now we must die with you. Because when that time comes, you can't turn the clock back. Like I always tell my clients, go all out or go back to fucking bed. Drop me a comment. Tell me the one thing that you've been putting off for that one day. Listen, I read every single comment, and today I want you to put it in writing. Accountability. Now, if you got value from this video, guess what? You're gonna love this next one on the screen right here. Make sure you whack the subscribe button if you haven't done already, because there's a lot more from where this came from. I'll see you on the next video. Take care.